Hi, for my first vlog, I'm going to be doing a reflection on one of the exercises we did in class, the one that focused on the difference in communication with your target publics compared to like the Australian community and the Saudi Arabian community. So we did this with particular emphasis to Hofstede's cultural dimensions. I found this exercise really interesting. Obviously, I always knew there was a difference between the culture in Australia and compared to Saudi Arabia. But it was really interesting being able to use the dimensions to actually see what the differences were, like specifics. So a few key notes, key ideas that I came across doing this exercise. It was really interesting to see that the power distance relationship in Saudi Arabia is higher compared to that of Australia. So if we were to do an anti-violence campaign, like my group and I were discussing how mass communication in Saudi Arabia is less likely to change attitudes, but rather direct communication with opinion leaders is more beneficial as they belong to tribes. Especially establishing ties with Arab political, religious, tribal, and social leaders would be an absolute high priority. So in Australia, we really value individualism, whereas in Saudi Arabia, it's not as high. So, for instance, a message in Saudi Arabia would be saying how, domestic violence is not good for our community, whereas in Australia, where individualism is highly favoured, it would be not good for you. So I found that it's really interesting in the way you'd have to specifically tailor a campaign compared to tailor a campaign depending on what a culture would value higher. So I think I kind of already knew this as well, but it was interesting seeing these, like reading the article and seeing the graph showing the differences. How the Arab community is very much opposed to Westernization, and people that are seen to be pro-Western would be seen as betrayers. They'd be named as betrayers. And so, just I think from this exercise, just from those points that I mentioned, I think it's so interesting how I think you have an idea in your head what a particular culture would be like, but then I think going back to first week when you only get one picture of a particular culture, having to do the research and immersing yourself in the culture, not taking on board the stereotypes, I think is really important. And I loved how, you do have to detail for specific communities. You do need to know, their values, their belief systems, and how it would best work for them. And I found that really interesting. And I did love that website where you could compare countries using Hofstede's cultural dimensions. I thought that was a really useful tool and very interesting as well. So, thank you.